Hey everybody, welcome back to Eating with Evans. This week we're going to make a spicy and creamy queso that pairs great with tortilla chips and beer while you're watching your favorite game. This week one of my friends challenged me to make a queso and this is my take on it, so this one's for you, Nicole. For this recipe you're going to need either one small onion or half of one large onion that's been diced, 3 cloves of garlic that I've crushed in my garlic press, 8 ounces of shredded pepper jack cheese that you've shredded yourself to make sure that you get the highest quality cheese for this recipe. And we're going to need 8 ounces of American deli cheese slices. I know you're going to say that American cheese isn't real cheese, but there's something important that's in American cheese that's going to make this queso recipe delicious. If you look on the back of the ingredients list, there's sodium and potassium phosphates, which are emulsifying agents. And what emulsifying agents do is they help liquids like water and fat bind together so that they stay cohesive, so that the fat doesn't rise to the top of the cheese sauce. By adding American cheese to your queso, it's actually going to help it bind together. We're going to need 2 cups of whole milk for this recipe, some pickled jalapeños and some pickled jalapeno juice, 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter, 1 tablespoon of ground cumin, 1 tablespoon of cornstarch, and a few dashes of your favorite hot sauce. I love this Howler Monkey hot sauce that was featured on Hot Ones. And of course, like everything else, we're going to need salt and pepper to taste. We've got a 12-inch skillet here that I've preheated over medium heat, and I'm going to add my 2 tablespoons of butter to this. I'm going to melt this butter down until the foaming starts to subside a little bit. Now that my butter's melted, I'm going to add in my small onion that I've diced. What I'm going to do is let this cook for about a minute or 2, let the onions start to soften up. And what you can do to help bring the moisture out of the onions a little bit is add a pinch of salt at this point. Now that I've given my onions a little time to cook, I'm going to add in my 3 cloves of garlic that I've crushed in a garlic press. And I'll want to stir that to combine. We really don't want to add any color to the garlic or onions here. We're just really trying to soften them up and pull some of the moisture out. Now I'm going to sprinkle in my 1 tablespoon of cumin and a few dashes of my Howler Monkey hot sauce. And now I'm going to stir that to combine. Now that we've let some of the raw flavor of those seasonings cook out, I'm going to add 1 3/4 cup of my milk. And I'm going to stir that to combine. And we're going to reserve about 1/4 cup left of the milk that I'm going to mix with the cornstarch to make a slurry. Now that I've added my milk, we're going to want to bring this up to a slight simmer, just so the milk gets warmed through. Now that you can see it starting to simmer in the center here, what I've done is I've mixed the remaining bit of my milk with some cornstarch. I mixed that together with a whisk, and now we're going to add it to our mixture. We're going to stir that to combine. That's going to act as a thickening agent for this queso, and it's going to help bind everything together. Now we're going to keep mixing this constantly to make sure that nothing burns. And what you want to see is you want to start to see this mixture, this liquid mixture, start to thicken up. This mixture is thickened up a good amount. You can tell because it's coating my spoon. So I'm going to turn this down to medium-low heat. Now what I'm going to do is add my 8 ounces of American cheese. All I did was tear these slices up and put it on a plate. Now that I've incorporated the cheese into the mixture, we want to stir this constantly. We want to make sure that it melts completely. At this point, I'm going to switch over to a whisk. It looks like our American cheese is fully incorporated into this sauce. So now what we're going to do is add our pepper jack cheese in, 1 handful at a time, stirring constantly for about 30 seconds to a minute until the cheese is fully melted. Now I'm adding the last installment of the pepper jack cheese. So I added that in about 4 installments, so about 2 ounces per installment. Now I'm going to add in about 1/4 cup of diced jalapeños. I'm going to mix that in. I'm going to turn off my heat, and now I'm going to add a splash of the jalapeno pickling liquid, and I'm going to whisk that in. Now you want to taste this to see if it needs any more salt. And now it's time to serve the queso. Now that we've got this plated up, I'm going to top it with some chopped pickled jalapeños for garnish. And this is the final dish. This is a creamy and spicy queso that you can make from home in less than 30 minutes. It goes great with tortilla chips and a cold beer while you're watching your favorite game. Hey everybody, I hope you love that recipe for my creamy and spicy queso dip as much as I do. If you did, be sure to hit the like button down below. While you're down there, subscribe to the channel and turn on all notifications by hitting the bell icon. When you do that, you get a push notification every single time one of my videos goes live, so you'll never miss one. Also, I'd absolutely love it if you leave a comment down below if you like something, you don't like something, or maybe you just want to recommend something that I make sometime. If you haven't already, check out my Instagram page here at Eating with Evans. This is where I post all the meals that I make throughout the week that you wouldn't necessarily see here on YouTube. Until next time. Here, you want some queso? How was that? A good queso?